Well, the Seahawks adding the Texans' 1,000-yard rusher from a year ago and Carlos Hyde to bolster their backfield, as well as three-time 1,000-yard receiver tight end Greg Olsen. And on defense, a familiar face returning to the fold after a couple of years away, Bruce Irvin is back. Jadeveon Clowney is not, at least not yet, with Seattle or with any team, for that matter, still unsigned. Omar Ruiz catches us up on what the 2020 Hawks will look like as our roster reset series continues.
There are a number of enthusiastic Seahawks fans who would love to see the offense unleash Russell Wilson in 2020, allowing him to throw it all over the field all game long. Let Russ cook is what they say. Meanwhile, Pete Carroll says Russell Wilson is as good as he's ever been, and he continues to get better. He said the offense will be situated to allow Russell Wilson to dominate every aspect of the game like he has the past few years, but that doesn't automatically mean they're going to be passing on every down. He said they still want to be balanced offensively and will lean heavily on the run game. It's one of the reasons why they brought in Carlos Hyde to their stable of backs, a player who they feel complements Chris Carson's running style as Carson makes his way back from that hip injury. Hyde's presence will also allow them to bring Rashad Penny back slowly as he recovers from his torn ACL, not to let him play until, as Carroll said, Penny is 1,000%. The Seahawks might have 4 new starting offensive linemen this season, so that group, seemingly like it is every year, will be under the microscope once again.
Okay, back here with MJD and Willie now. Our thanks to Omar for that setup. So now, guys, let's look at the biggest keys for the Seahawks to recapture the NFC West title, which has not been theirs since 2016. Maurice, what you got?
For me, the Seattle Seahawks have to find a way to try to bring back Jadeveon Clowney or bring in someone like him. He was very disruptive throughout the playoffs and in those big games against the San Francisco 49ers. We saw him the highlight tape early, picking up the ball, scooping and scoring. You're seeing him penetrate the running game. I know he's not as consistent as you want him to be, but it's plays like this where he can pick the ball off and take it to the house. We call those miscellaneous touchdowns that you can't count for. And so when you have a guy like Jadeveon Clowney in your defense that allows other guys to play faster and they understand the pass rush is coming, it forces the offense to do some things that are uncharacteristic, and that's what you're looking for. And so hopefully the Seattle Seahawks can find a way to get Jadeveon Clowney back in there or someone close to it.
And that would mean a lot to their defense, MJD. For me, though, there's 3 things. There's health, there's the running game, and there's pass rush, which you hit on. First of all, health. You talk about their starting 3 running backs. They all finished on IR. And when you talk about running the football, being effective, Russell Wilson being able to exploit a lot of different defenses, the running game has and always will be a huge part of their offense and what they do, establishing the front, being physical, bringing Carlos Hyde in. Penny didn't finish. He was on IR. Carson didn't finish. He was on IR. Procise didn't finish. So now you got a 4 running back stable that shows you how important that they are. They got to be able to run the football. And then if you talk about the running backs and what they can bring to the passing game, that's going to open up everything for Philip Dorsett and DJ Metcalf and Lockett. That'll open up everything. And the last thing that you talked about, which is extremely important, Ziggy Ansah and Jadeveon Clowney, there was no production out of those pass rushers. Whenever that their defense has been effective in the past and been dominant, the front 4 gets after the quarterback and they affect the pocket in the running game. They have got to find a way to affect the pocket and get after the passer. Rasheem Green led the team from the interior with 4 sacks. That's unacceptable for Pete Carroll's defense. So if they're going to be effective, I think they need to hit on all 3 of those categories, especially you mentioned the defense. You got to be able to control the front and get after that quarterback.